I know for a fact that I don't know, like, any of these.
Driver says that the person in charge of the mail has complained to Sir Topham Hatt about the delay last night.
Why don't we just kill these fucking people?
Those stop scrolling and take a break videos are way too common for my taste, so I'm gonna make one for myself right now.
Boy! It has been 4 hours! Put it down! Put it down! What you need today? Exactly! Put it down with your crazy ass!
So apparently this filter was made by witches, and it's supposed to be like stupid accurate, because you know they put their whole witches scene into this. And never once in my life have I been let down by a witch. I love the witches. I hope they love me. So I'm gonna put all my trust in this and let my mental stability depend on it. So we're gonna, what am I doing? I will. All right, get the pitchforks.
Oh my god. Shay?
Yeah?
Can you come give me a hand?
Yeah, of course.
I just gotta throw this in the truck, but I can't lift it up.
Okay, let's get it.
Oh, god, it's heavy.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Oh, why don't we just get a man to help?
Yes, absolutely.
I knew it.
You a best hero. I carry bitches like I'm Prego. Beat around with nigga called Petro. Something nigga should've knew it from the get-go.
Okay, I made up a game. It's called Dinner Party Foursome Jail. It's like Fuck, Marry, Kill, but group version. And once I answer, I can't change my answers, and I don't know what's coming next. All right, let's do it. Oh, foursome. I would easily all 3 of them. All right, dinner party, jail. Dinner party, jail. Dinner party. That looks like a good ass dinner party. All right, who are we sending to jail?
Ever do an Amazon review on anything, it'd probably be this window cat perch. That's gotta be 50 plus pounds of fat lord. Oh! No, I did not just... What the fuck? Well, if I were to review the window, I'm gonna give it a 1 star out of 10. But look at that perch, still hanging on. Everybody okay?
Put head to paper. You could figure this out. It's not that hard.
That's not the expression. Pen to paper.
Head to paper.
Head to paper? Explain why that would make any sense.
If you, like...
Put your head on a piece of paper.
If you put your thought on the paper.
No, put pen to paper. Start writing. Figure it out.
No, you put the thoughts in your head on the paper.
You don't, Frank, it's not put your head to paper.
Yes,
it's
it
put
is.
pen to paper.
No.
It's put pen to paper.
No, it is not.
So you can start writing it out. What would you putting your head on a piece of paper do?
Your thoughts are in your head, Joey.
How do you get your thoughts out?
You put them on the paper. It's a
How did you take notes in college like this?
I installed a whammy bar on my harp, and I'm going to show you the coolest way that I use it. My friend Jared made me a beat, and I'm going to play harp over it using the virtual Jeff.
I don't want a fursona. You don't have to have a fursona. Okay, I'm not saying you need to have a fursona at all, in any way. What I am saying is, it's a little boring if you haven't even considered what animal it would be. How is that boring? This is like grade school stuff. What's my favorite animal? Is that what it is? It is completely different than what your favorite animal would be. Some people, yeah, their favorite animal happens to also be the fursona version of them. That is not the same thing. Can I be multiple creatures? Can I be a school of piranhas? Is that a fursona? I think that would be a scaly, not a furry. But, I mean, I don't see why not. You can be multiple things. Who cares? Well, then, that's kind of cool. I mean, I thought that there was a bunch of rules, which is part of the reason I was hesitant. We are fully robbing a bank right now. What the fuck are you two doing?
Aloha kako, and welcome to a new segment called Did you know? Did you know that back at the mid-1800s, California and Hawaii had a coincidental cultural exchange? Around the 1850s, King Kamehameha III requested aid from California, which was a part of Mexico at the time, to teach Hawaiians how to herd cattle and ride horses. In response, California sent to Hawaii 3 vaqueros to teach Hawaiians how to herd cattle, roping skills, and horsemanship. And this is the origin of how we had our first Hawaiian cowboys, or paniolo. But the funny thing, around the same time in Santa Cruz, California, 3 Hawaiian princes were teaching the art of surfing to Californians. They even taught the Santa Cruz residents how to make their own surfboards using the very popular redwood. This is what started the surfing culture that's very popular in California today. It's very interesting how these 2 events practically happened around the same time. 3 vaqueros from California taught Hawaiians how to be cowboys, and 3 Hawaiian princes taught Californians how to be surfers. But now you know. Oh, we hope.
He mea koikoi ka ho'omaona i ka olelo Hawaii. No ka mea o kekahi mea e ola ai kekahi lahui, e ike ai i kekahi kanaka o kekahi lahui, o ia ka olelo. Mana'o wau i na pau ka olelo, pau ka lahui.
Ka mea koikoi no ka lahui, ka olelo Hawaii ana, ka malama ana nā mea Hawaii, e ling me nā mo'olelo, nā hula, nā mele.
Po'o mau ana i ke la mau hanana paha, nā mana'o ko mako mau kupuna i hala aku.
A'ole no paha e a'o naka Hawaii a pau, aka ina hiki ke ho'okamaʻaina i ka olelo, ina hua olelo, na meli ale pono ana e pueko. Ale pono ana e lilo I mana leo I loko o ko ola ana, e na ole hiki paha. No'u he hau mana no ka olelo wau, no ko ola holoko a ale pau I loko no o kia ola ho'okahi. Aka ke kai ana, ka hele ana I ke la pahu hopu, o ia ka mea e holo mua I ka lahui, o ia ko umanao, ka ho'i ana I ke la ike kupuna, na ike like ole, aka ike o ko aka ike ana ke la ike, ma o ka olelo ma kuhini o kako.
Third straightest moment of 2022. That would be Tom Brady not realizing his actions would have consequences. In February, Tom Brady officially announced his retirement after 22 seasons. He said, "Now it is time to focus my time and energy on things that require my attention." Focus his time and energy he did for about 40 days. Then after that, he called off his retirement. This, of course, upset his wife, Gisele Bundchen, who 3 months later filed for divorce. You might be asking, why is this straight culture? This just sounds kind of sad. And what you have to understand is that straight culture is sad. The man chose football over his family. That's devastating. What also makes it straight culture is that he didn't learn anything. Just 1 month ago, he said that he has no regrets about returning to the NFL after the divorce from Gisele Bundchen. And he should have regrets. Right now, he's getting his butt kicked by the Cleveland Browns while his wife and children are having a great time at Disney World.
This might sound silly to some people, except for cat owners, but I have cat drama going on. Now see this spot right here? This is my cat Bubba's designated pillow. I sleep here, she sleeps on the pillow that is running parallel to my body. Always, it doesn't matter where we are. If we went to a hotel, I would put a pillow here parallel to me and she would sleep on it, she would find it, she would know that that's her spot. She never fails to get in this spot in bed with me and we sleep together. Now Salmon here, he's new. He's only been with us for a year and he sleeps all around the bed. However, he has been gunning for her spot. All he wants to do is try to sleep here. I believe that this spot right here is like the head cat. So last night I wake up Bubba's here in her designated spot. Salmon is right down here. I have to move Salmon so I can get up to go to the bathroom. I return from said bathroom, and Salmon is on my cat's pillow, and my black cat is on the ground. I'm like, how'd that happen? Salmon has pushed her out. So, what do? I pick my cat up off the floor, I put her on the pillow, I move Salmon back onto my body. That's a great spot. Okay, before anybody's going to hate on me because I'm moving Salmon off of the pillow, that's not his spot. She's been in the spot for 12 years. I can't move her now. Salmon's only been here a year. We've got to, like, stay with the ranking, okay? Roll over. I turn the TV on at 1 in the morning. I'm feeling wild and crazy. I reach over my shoulder to give my black cat a little pet. I touch the fur. I'm like, wait, something's not right here. I look over. Salmon. Salmon is on this pillow, and my cat, again, has been moved down the bed. I don't know how it happened in a matter of 3 seconds, but it did. So what do? I switch them around again. My boyfriend Luke is like, Kirby, what the f are you doing? He has no idea what's going on. I'm like shuffling cats all around the bed at 1 a.m. So then I put my black cat Bubba here and Salmon also on the pillow with her. I'm trying something wild and crazy because she's a dominant cat. Okay, she doesn't snuggle buggle wuggle with anybody. So I put Salmon and Bubba on the same pillow, and what do you know? They sleep together, spooning. I couldn't even believe my freaking eyes. I wanted to take a photo, but if I would have moved from my pillow, they would have moved. It was unbelievable. It was a huge turn of events for us. I wake up in the morning though, again, Salmon is on the pillow and Bubba is on the floor. He's moving her out and she doesn't like it. Sammy boy.
Welcome to Scotland. We've got ice. This is hair ice, and it only forms on dead wood from broadleaf trees where the fungus Exodiopsis effusa is present, and it typically only occurs at a latitude between 45 and 55 degrees north when the temperature is cold and the air is humid. So I feel pretty lucky to have found it. Here is a beautiful frozen river where one of the rivulets is making a little blanket of ice. Here is the day before and the day after, same spot. And ice pancakes! These are usually seen in the Antarctic or Baltic Sea, but they were formed here by swirling eddies of river current and freezing river foam. Look at this icicle-covered branch chandelier and this. This wee waterfall froze over and its splashing little droplets have encased all of the nearby plants in ice, like the first days of an ice age. This same thing has happened here with a clump of moss, except because it's knobbly shaped, it's created these textured stalagmite globules. This leaf is on its way to being completely frozen over. I watched this ice shelf for hours to see if it would drift away and trying to predict how it would make its escape, and then the next day I came back to check on it and it was gone. We have these frosty window ferns in garden sheds and ice crystals growing around rock edges, showing where the water level used to be. And these hoar frost crystals are what makes the banks at the edge of the roads sparkle. What I love about ice and snow is not only its beauty, but the fact that you have to seize the opportunity to appreciate it whilst it's there. Even if it means you have to put on a coat and gloves and your nose will get red, it's worth it because it will be gone tomorrow.
Today we're going to go through all of the Barbie presidential candidate dolls and decide if they are liberal or conservative. This isn't going to be based off of much, just first instinct, probably a lot of just color that they're wearing. Just started to rain. Anyways, here's the first presidential Barbie, 1992. She's wearing this gorgeous AmeriCorps gown, and then she also has a more professional outfit. Now, I love her, she's camp, but I hate to say, I don't know, she gives conservative. She has that delusional aspect that a lot of them have. I love her, but I fear that she may be a conservative. Now we have 2000. She's fine. I'm thinking she's liberal, but holds a few conservative views. She's probably married to a conservative. Like, she thinks gay people shouldn't all be hit with cars, but she is against abortion. We have Miss 2004. She's wearing a pantsuit, which is the one unique thing about her, I guess. And again, I think she might be a conservative. I don't know. The way she does her makeup, it's not giving. Also, all of these dolls come in, like, different races. I'm just, like, the highest quality images are usually just of the white ones, so that's what I'm using. Now we have 2008, and she kind of ate that. Like, she has this cute pink gown with pearl straps. She's very put together. I love the glitter. I think this is a liberal. She just looks so friendly and accepting, and yeah, I'm fairly positive this is a liberal woman. Now we have 2012. I have this doll, and I fucking hate her. She's a stupid, ugly little bitch, and her shoes are molded on because she's supposed to be able to stand on her own, like, literally and metaphorically, but that feature doesn't work. She's ugly. Her dress is ugly. This is a conservative woman. Like, I can't, just look, she's a conservative. And she's one of the extra crazy ones, too. Like, she's the most far-right doll we have seen so far. Now we have 2016, which is actually pretty interesting. It comes with a president and a vice president, and doesn't tell you who's who you get to pick. These dolls are very underwhelming. I don't like them. These are liberals. However, the girl in yellow, she's more liberal than the blondie, you know? Like, blondies, she's kind of, like, secretly conservative. She just has, like, there's, like, a couple things that she doesn't like, but overall pretty liberal. But the yellow one is, like, completely liberal. Now, which one is the president? I don't know. Blondie is dressed more, like, interestingly and impactfully. However, the yellow chick, she just looks like she has more importance. It's up to you. In 2020 is a whole campaign team. We have campaign fundraiser, campaign manager, candidate, and then voter. Voter is a liberal, I can tell you that. And I'm thinking the candidate is probably liberal. I think everybody's a liberal here. That's it.
This is insane size for a car. It says, I'm the average male height at 5'9". This vehicle should be illegal. And it's a picture of him standing next to a 2017 Plus F-250, which is probably on a leveling kit. I believe he wants it illegal because the hood is almost as tall as him, and he's 5'9". And so what? Why does it matter that the hood is nearly as tall as you? Are you going to ban semi-trucks next?
First of all, semi-truck drivers have to get a whole different license to drive their trucks. So that's not a good point. This video has been floating around for a little while, and I'm kind of really invested in this topic for a lot of different reasons. But I've also made a lot of videos making fun of dudes driving big, huge trucks for reasons. And I think it would be good to get into this a little bit. The first and loudest complaint about criticism for driving a giant truck is, you don't know what it's like to need it for work. We need these big trucks. Shut the fuck up, you liberal cuck, or whatever the fuck they say. And to that I say, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is the size comparison of how trucks are growing exponentially and becoming less efficient, see this bed size versus this bed size, over time. There are a lot of reasons why we're seeing an explosion of size in these trucks. It has to do first with Obama's Cash for Clunkers thing, where you had to have a certain amount of gas mileage that you could achieve. But that gas mileage was associated with how big your vehicle is. And the bigger your vehicle is, the less gas mileage you needed to have. So instead of making the cars more efficient, companies just made them fucking bigger. And along with that came marketing to make you feel like it was necessary to drive this big, giant fucking tank around on the road. And the reality is, when people tell you that they drive these giant fucking trucks for work or towing or personal hauling, this is a fraction of what people are actually using these fucking giant apartment building sized trucks for. This is just a cute little graphic about, like, psychiatry and how F-150 owners hear the words powerful and rugged and equate them to themselves versus the rest of the fucking world. Anyway, I think it's important that when we're talking about this 5'9" person barely being able to see over this hood of this ridiculous compensation machine, that someone who is 5'2" or a child or someone in a wheelchair or someone on a bicycle is completely invisible. Do we think about that? Here's my main takeaway. Do you actually like driving a truck that gets 4 miles to the gallon and has a turning circle of a fucking moon? Or maybe do you think society is telling you to feel something and then you're just blindly fucking doing that? Just a thought.
This street sign that keeps getting vandalized is making a lot of people very angry.
A road in Tottenham has been officially renamed following concerns about its links to racism and slavery. Black Boy Lane will now be known as La Rose Lane, after the poet John La Rose, who lived in Haringey.
But some people aren't having any of it, and the street signs keep getting vandalized.
Even more disappointing to me, loads of residents are putting up Black Boy Lane signs on their window to protest the name change. But what was wrong with the term Black Boy anyway? Is the word boy cancelled now? You see, after 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement, the UK was sort of forced to acknowledge that perhaps black people in the UK too had been historically discriminated against. As a relic of that history, the term Black Boy, for instance, was traditionally used to belittle black men. Chances are, if you were not aware of that specific historical context, no matter your ethnicity, you frankly didn't care about the name of this street. But now that you know, though, are you going to choose to honor a black local figure such as John La Rose, or are you going to fight tooth and nails for a belittling term from the past? My historian friend Kane made a video about it and was flooded with comments such as, "You're erasing history, RIP history, just because it's not politically correct now. Being able to discuss history will ensure real progress." Well, about that, when it comes to honoring a troubled past, Germany is a very good case study. Let's go to Treitschke Street in Karlsruhe, Germany. Now, who the hell is Treitschke? Well, the street sign will give us some context.
He contributed to anti-Semitism becoming socially acceptable in the German Empire. The naming no longer corresponds to today's values.
Okay. So because very often when we talk about, statues being put down and stuff, some people argue, no, you must leave them there and add a plate. It creates a conversation, people gain awareness. I don't see much conversation being created by this.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, where are my manners? This is Nora Heuser. She wrote her master thesis on post-colonialism in Karlsruhe. When I partnered with the Center for Art and Media at ZKM to do this work, they immediately sent me her way, debunking the arguments of those who suddenly seem to care so much about the history of street names.
I think that's the wrong question to ask. The real question should be, what are they being honored for? And if streets are named in 1937, that should give you a clear idea of what these streets or these people were being honored for. I mean, there are streets that are debatable. For example, Martin Luther was anti-Semitic, he hated women, but he was a reformer. He was very important for German history, so for that, he's honored. Still, you can debate whether or not this is good, but here I feel like it's so clear, it's so obvious, that I think this is a very weak argument.
One of the arguments is that we can't erase history, but how is honoring John La Rose erasing anything? We're not taking anything away, we're adding to the canon. History is not a collection of objective truths. It's a choice of narrative, of what part we choose to highlight and what part we choose to let go of. And those choices have consequences on today's society. Stay tuned, as in part 2, I'll be interviewing some residents who chose to place Black Boy Lane on their window to put my finger on the pulse of this vibrant local community.
Where are my anti-capitalist financial influencers?
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm a Marxist, and I'm not like a financial influencer. The idea of like being that makes me want to die. I don't think I would ever trust anyone who's like, I'm a money influencer, period. Just, The first thing I want to do is like help assuage the guilt that you are clearly feeling right now. In your video, you're like, hey, I feel like I could be using my money better, and like I don't want to hoard wealth. And I know that's ironic because I'm sitting in front of $100 like wall butterfly from Urban Outfitters. That's not what hoarding wealth looks like. You work for a living. If you work for a living, you are not the wealthy. And I think that is one of the things that like our generation is like leftist millennials, like maybe are you a millennial? You might be Gen Z, I don't know. One of the things that we need to better grasp is like the difference between having money and being one of the rich. And that has to do with our relationship to capital, because, even if you're getting paid an obscene amount of money for your labor, you're getting paid for your labor. The wealthy are not paid for their labor. They are paid for their assets. If you are paid for your labor, you might be a highly paid worker, like a dentist, but like you're a worker. And like the gotcha examples for that are like, well, what about pro athletes? They make millions and millions of dollars. Surely their labor is not worth that. You're right, their labor is not worth that. Their labor is actually worth more than that. And that's why the people who own their teams are billionaires. If they cost the team more money than their labor generated, they wouldn't get hired for that team. Anyway, let's talk about what to do with money to grow it. The most important thing is getting to the point where you could buy a house. and not feeling guilty for buying that house, because everyone should fucking own a house, and it's capitalism's fault that everyone does not have access to it, not fucking yours. Once you have a home, you have an asset, and you have an asset that could pass down to your children. That is generational wealth. You have just built that if you did not have that. That said, not all assets are great. Like, I actually recommend against buying a car. I think it's better to lease one. When you have extra money, I would recommend actually against just like, oh, I'll put it in a savings account. It's good to have liquidity in a savings account, like for an emergency. But after that amount of money, I would suggest you put it in like a Roth IRA in an index fund. Now, to get into the sort of the ethics of doing that, if you put it into a savings account, the bank is just gonna loan it out too, and probably to like in a less scrupulous way. It's one of those no ethical consumption under capitalism things. Once you have a house and you have like a very large debt looming over you in a mortgage, get life insurance that would cover that amount. I also recommend picking one or two like really good like nonprofits or charities that you believe in. For me, there's one called the Trans Legal Defense and Education Fund, and then there's also one called RIP Medical Debt. Taxes are good, but most of it will go to the cops, so it's better to go to fighting for trans rights and fighting medical debt.
Hey, good morning. Every politician will tell you that Dr. King had a dream, but what they don't tell you is what that dream looks like economically. You ever wonder why?
It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee a livable income and a good, solid job. It's much easier to guarantee the right to vote than it is to guarantee the right to live in sanitary, decent housing conditions. It is much easier to integrate a public park than it is to make genuine, quality, integrated education a reality. But it does not stop there. In 1875, the nation passed a civil rights bill and refused to enforce it. In 1964, the nation passed a weaker civil rights bill. And even to this day, that bill has not been totally enforced in all of its dimensions. The nation heralded a new day of concern for the poor, for the poverty-stricken, for the disadvantaged, and brought into being a poverty bill. But at the same time, it put such little money into the program that it was hardly and still remains hardly a good skirmish against poverty. White politicians in suburbs talk eloquently against open housing, and in the same breath contend that they are not racist. Now, all of this and all of these things tell us that America has been backlashing on the whole question of basic constitutional and God-given rights for Negroes and other disadvantaged groups for more than 300 years. And that is a great deal that the society can and must do if the Negro is to gain the economic security that he needs. Now, one of the answers, it seems to me, is a guaranteed annual income, a guaranteed minimum income for all people and for all families of our country. It seems to me that the civil rights movement must now begin to organize for the guaranteed annual income, begin to organize people all over our country and mobilize forces so that we can bring to the attention of our nation this need and this something which I believe will go a long, long way toward dealing with the Negro's economic problem and the economic problem which many other poor people confront in our nation. Now, I said I wasn't going to talk about Vietnam, but I can't make a speech without mentioning some of the problems that we face there, because I think this war has diverted attention from civil rights. It has strengthened the forces of reaction in our country and has brought to the forefront the military-industrial complex that even President Eisenhower warned us against at one time. And above all, it is destroying human lives. It's destroying the lives of thousands of the young, promising men of our nation, destroying the lives of little boys and little girls in Vietnam. But one of the greatest things that this war is doing to us in civil rights is that it is allowing the great society to be shot down on the battlefields of Vietnam every day. And I submit this afternoon that we can end poverty in the United States. Our nation has the resources to do it. The national gross product of America will rise to the astounding figure of some $7 this year. We have the resources. The question is whether the nation has the will. And I submit that if we can spend $5 billion a year to fight an ill-considered war in Vietnam and $20 billion to put a man on the moon, our nation can spend billions of dollars and on their own 2 feet right here on earth.